Unite beyond boundaries. Innovate together. Joe's PANKRATION 2024. No border.
Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining Joe's PANKRATION 2024, and thanks for coming to my session. My name is Richard Fan. I'm a AWS security hero. I'm from Hong Kong. I'm a security engineer in a VPN company as well. So today, we are going to talk about software supply chain security, and I'm going to talk about how we can achieve it using AWS Nitro Enclaves and GitHub Actions. So first of all, let's talk about the software supply chain. So where does our software come from? If we think about it, then we will have a very long path from where we have the source code all the way to we build the software and distribute to our consumer. We have many steps here. You can see the developer write their source code and put it into a source repository, for example, code commit, GitHub, and we use CI/CD pipeline to build it. And the software we store somewhere and for the consumer to download it. And such a long path, many things can go wrong. There are many. I'm not going to talk about it one by one, but you can see at every point, there will be potential issue. Maybe hacker will change our source code. Maybe in the build process, the hacker can inject some bad code into our software. Maybe the software in the package repository maybe get changed to a malicious software by hacker. And even the user may be downloading a wrong software. So there are many things we can go wrong. So how do we protect it? How do our customer know that our software they use is a genuine software built by us, and there is no injection from hackers in their software they are using? So today I'm going to talk about a framework called SLSA, SLSA. It is supply chain levels for software artifacts. It is a framework guiding us on how to make sure the software integrity. How do we ensure our software from the source code to the software the customer is using is the same one? SLSA use a document called provenance, which is an attestation to prove that a software is what we claim that it is. It's actually like a birth certificate of the software. So we build the software from our source code through the CI/CD pipeline. It's just like giving birth to our software. So SLSA gives us a method to build a birth certificate of the software and with a stamp on it, so the customer can verify the software. Where does it come from? Actually, SLSA is a new framework, but achieving it is not very difficult. We can use it simply using a GitHub action. So if you don't know what is GitHub action, it is basically a CI/CD platform. You may know GitHub already. GitHub is a source code repository. So in our source code repository, we write software code into the repository. We can write a workflow inside the repository to tell GitHub action how to build our software. This is an example of a GitHub action workflow. We will write this workflow to tell GitHub action how to build our software. So in here, there are some steps we can define. Maybe we have some step to build a software, maybe a Docker container, a Docker image. We can write different steps to build it. But here, I put specifically a step called GitHub attest. This is actually giving the birth certificate of the container image that I have just built. We can just simply add these two lines into our existing GitHub action workflow. Then we can give the attestation, give the birth certificate to our software. So this is the GitHub action that I've just shown you. And after I run this GitHub action CI/CD pipeline, you can see there's an attestation created for my container image. And if we click into it, we can see the birth certificate of my container image I've just built. Here is the software built, which is the container image and also the digest of the container image. And then it is built by GitHub Action from this source code. So if a customer download my container image and want to verify what is inside the container image, they can look into this attestation, this birth certificate, and go back to my source code repository and verify if this is the correct software. So Salsa cover this area from the source code repository to the consumer. It can give a method for the consumer to verify the software that they are using all the way back to the source code repository to verify they are using the correct software. But the story doesn't end here. In modern world, our software is not running on local machine. We are running on maybe EC2 instance, providing an API service to our customer. So after we have the software, we also need to go through deployment, and it hosts the API software into our server. And then the end user will use our API service. There are still many things can go wrong. Simply maybe the end user is accessing the other API endpoint. So how do our cloud end user also verify the server is also running the correct software? This is where AWS Nitro Enclaves come into play. So AWS Nitro Enclaves is an isolated virtual machine run inside the EC2 instance. There's a specialized virtual machine that has no admin access, no persistent storage, and no external networking. But the most beautiful part is attestation document. The attestation document is generated inside the Nitro Enclave by AWS at runtime. So imagine we can build our application inside a Nitro Enclave and request an attestation document and present to our client end user, our API end user. The attestation document has the fingerprint of the application itself. And this is actually like an ID card. It is issued by AWS. So if our client trusts AWS, they can verify this ID and compare the application fingerprint with the one they expected. So the API end user can verify they are talking to the real API server running the expected API software. So this is AWS Nitro Enclave. How does it integrate with the GitHub Action attestation that I have mentioned in the first session? So here I will talk about it. So this graph is the previous graph. We have the source code. We need to build it. We need to package it. So here, I will package Enclave application, our software, but also alongside the application, I will put the fingerprint of the Enclave application just the same as the fingerprint inside the Nitro Enclave attestation document. I will put it all together and use GitHub Action Salsa framework to do the attestation on the whole purple box. Basically, I'll give the birth certificate of the entire purple box. And then I deploy the Enclave application into the EC2 instance Nitro Enclave to host my API server. And then the API server will present the Enclave attestation document at runtime to the API end user. The end user can verify the attested artifact because the document has the fingerprint of the Enclave. So they can compare the fingerprint between the attestation document and also my package. If they match, then the end user know they are running the API server is running the API application that I have built. And then using the Salsa framework, the birth certificate, the end user can go all the way back to the source code to verify what is actually running behind the API server. Then the end user can, at any time they call the API, they can trust that they are communicating with the real API software running the API application that come from this source code. So this may seem very complicated and very difficult to understand, but I have a demo. But because I only have 15 minutes, so I will just talk about the demo, but you need to do it yourself. But trust me, it is very simple. You can very easily build it by your own. So my demo is an application to see how high or how low is my salary. So this is a very difficult question, because if I want to know within my friend, am I earning the highest, or my friend earn more than me? If we want to know, but we don't trust each other, I won't tell my friend how exactly my salary is. So how can we solve this problem? So I built the app. It's called the How High Is My Salary Enclave app. This is running inside the Nitro Enclave. So Nitro Enclave doesn't have admin access, don't have persistent storage. So we can trust that the salary I tell the Enclave application will not be leaked to other people. So this application will only tell you where your salary ranked. The source code is open on GitHub Action. You can also always verify the source code that I didn't plant a backdoor inside the software that will leak your salary. Is not. You can also verify yourself. The build process is using GitHub Action. It's also open. You can trust it. Run on AWS Nitro Enclave. And we can use the Nitro Enclave attestation document to prove that we are talking to the real API server. We're not sending our salary to another API server that is the hacker or other people. So this Enclave app, I host it on the my GitHub repository. This is a QR code. I will share later as well. You can go in and check. It's very easy to set up. I write a Terraform to deploy it. You can simply run the Terraform, apply. Then the API server that run inside Nitro Enclave will build into your account. And then there's another client application, which I show in this animation. This is a very simple but very beautiful command line tools that you can talk to the API server that running inside the Nitro Enclave. You put your exact salary into the API server, and then it will give you the unique ID. You can tell your friend to do the same thing, input their salary to the Enclave application, and then when you come back, you input your you use your unique ID to check where is your salary. Is your friend earn higher, more than you, or you earn the most among your friend? But they won't tell you who is participating in this comparison and how their exact salary is. They will only tell you where your salary is ranked among your friends. So hope you enjoyed my presentation. And if you want to find me, ask me a question, I will be here in the Ask the Speaker room. I also have a LinkedIn here, and you can, if you have any question, you can email me or LinkedIn connect me or message me. So this wrap up my presentation. Thank you very much.